this may be the most important video you're gonna watch all year, for real. And I've got a question for you. I want you to think about this. Have you ever had a bad day? You know, you get up a little late and someone's eaten the last bagel, or maybe you're in a rush and your beautiful, wonderful, amazing child spills a gallon of milk all over your kitchen floor. Maybe you're running late and it seems like you hit every red light on the way, or maybe even a little more serious. You know, maybe you go to swipe your debit card to buy a loaf of bread and it gets declined because there's just not enough money there. It could even be that the unthinkable happens and someone you love passes away. You know, we can't stop the problems from coming, right? But what we can do is prepare ourselves for when they hit so that we can leverage the situation and really use it as soon as it happens to us to go a little further and maybe even move from feeling frustrated and depressed to excited and hopeful and able to live in joy each moment regardless of what may be happening around us. My name is Kevin Clayson, the Chief Officer of Awesome, author of Flipping the Gratitude Switch, and founder of the Gratifuel movement, and I am so glad that you decided to swing by and check out this awesome video. Over the next few minutes, you are going to learn a formula that is guaranteed to change the entire trajectory of your life. I'm going to show you a formula that guarantees you never have to have a bad day again. I mean, how awesome is that? I'm going to give you the one formula that you need that can increase your happiness and fulfillment in life without having to spend thousands of dollars on personal development seminars and without having to just read dozens of books in order to finally crack the life contentment code. See, here's the deal. A lot of us kind of live in this normal everyday life. Sometimes it seems like it should all be fine and it should all be good. You know, we've maybe got the wife and the husband and the kids, and maybe we've got, you know, the job, and we've got everything that should be going perfectly. But then one day we just turn around and look and go, wait a second. It's not what I thought it would be. I'm not as happy as I expected to be at this point in my life. I'm not as fulfilled. There's not as much joy as I wanted to have in my life. And I gotta tell you, I was in that exact place just a few years ago. And it ultimately led me on a journey that helped me discover something that has changed the entire trajectory of my life. And this is the important part. It's something that I know can change the trajectory of your life as well. What I'm gonna share with you in this video is the simple formula that takes me less than 30 seconds to do, but immediately changes the entire trajectory of my day, immediately gives me back control over my life and the happiness that I feel, that immediately increases the amount of joy or success or desire that I have for the good things in life. It's simple. It's easy, and I'm gonna give it all to you right here on this video. I'm gonna take you through my story of where I was, where I got to. You're gonna come with me and actually see what happened in order for me to learn about this one idea and this one principle. Now, I gotta be honest with you. The reason why I wanna share this video is because before I had an opportunity to go through this, I'd been searching and searching for that one thing that could change it all for me. And I couldn't find the instruction manual. There was no how-to guide. And so I kept searching and searching, and finally I felt that I was inspired with the one idea, the one thing that could change everything. And I embarked on a journey that changed my life forever. And what I know is that this journey and this message and this formula can change your life forever. So if you're ready, I want you to come with me and not only learn what this formula is, not only learn what this idea and this principle is, but I'm going to show you exactly how you can apply it every day in your life simply, easily, and really, you don't need anything but you, this thing that you have, this gift that you've been given from God, this heart, this mind, and you can take what I'm going to share with you and change the entire trajectory of each day from this day forward, and it'll change the entire trajectory of your life. So if you're ready, I'm excited to take you on this journey. Come with me and let's learn about a little something that I call flipping the gratitude switch. I started a company with my buddies a couple years ago, and things were going well. I mean, they weren't going great, but they were going like okay. I mean, people liked our company, they liked what it was that we'd provided, and it was really hard for me. I mean, I go into work and I just was unhappy. I was totally unfulfilled. And around that same time, my wife and I had had a new baby, and he'd spent a couple weeks in the NICU, and we were so afraid when he came out of the NICU and we brought him home that like anytime he made a peep during the middle of the night, we're like, oh gosh, let's go get him. And so we trained him to never sleep through the night. And so I go on these business trips and my wife would be getting up with Braxton all night long. And I'd come home, and then I'd try to be like the good husband and let her sleep, and I'd get up with Braxton all night long. So when I was in town, I wasn't getting any sleep. Then I'd go into the office and I was totally miserable. And I'd look at the bank account and I'd realize, you know what, the company's not growing as fast as I wanted to. And so the money didn't seem to be there. I was overtired and exhausted. It had a strain on my relationship with my wife. And I remember just driving down this road and thinking, gosh, nothing is what I want it to be. You know, I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not making as much money as I want. I remember just driving here to work and just going, gosh, I better just get geared up for another crappy day, working for a guy I don't like, who doesn't like me, doing a bunch of work that's relatively pointless because there's not enough money in the bank, and just having to deal with it all, right? Because it's life and it's what I've got. And as I pulled up and pulled into the spot that I always parked in, I just knew it was going to be another one of those days. Here I sat after that drive and I just went, gosh, I'm just done. I'm just done. Why? Why do I keep trying? Why? It's pointless, right? I've been working so hard for so long, and what do I have to show for it? And I literally had the thought, maybe I just run away. Maybe I just leave it all. I didn't even really know what that meant. I hadn't even clearly articulated what that meant in my mind. I mean, obviously I wasn't going to leave my wife and my kids and my family. I think it was more about this place. Maybe I just leave this. But I also knew that wasn't the right answer. As I sat here in my despair, I had a thought come to my mind of a man that I heard speak a year or two earlier. I remember him talking about this one idea, an idea that I'd heard of for years, but never really understood. And I don't know why it had such an impact and touched my heart with such force at that time when he spoke of this thing, but I remembered it all of a sudden. Gratitude. Now, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't even know what gratitude could do for me, but you know what? It at least was a thought. Nothing else is working, so maybe that will. You know, for me, gratitude was always sort of this idea that is this thing you feel at Thanksgiving from time to time, right? It's like an emotion or something. But I remembered that talk, and I remembered him talking about what gratitude had done for him and his wife, what it did for their relationship. And I just had that thought, you know, today, maybe when I go in that door, maybe that's what I do. And I was going to go in the office where I was going to maybe begin this new journey of trying to discover what gratitude could mean for me. And you can imagine all of the emotion. And I come to the door, and as I get ready to open the door, it's locked. Okay, it wasn't really locked that day. It's just locked right now because we don't office here anymore. But I did. I came down these stairs and I opened this door and I walked down that hallway and I walked into my office and I started to pull books off the shelf and figure out how can I learn about this thing that's gratitude, this thing that is going to become really, really real. I didn't know if it was going to be real, but I just knew it was something different than I'd done before. You know, what I learned inside of this office and what I learned in that room and the process that I went through is where I'm going to take you next. See, it wasn't just the thought that gratitude could be a difference maker. I realized that I had to learn that it was more than just thinking about gratitude. It was more than just feeling gratitude. I had to activate gratitude. I had to learn how to make gratitude a thing that you do, not just a thing that you feel. Life was about to change, just as it may be about to change for you. So now that we're here in my office, I mean, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where I get to share the stuff that I really love. See, I want to share with you a couple things. I want to share with you my really simple 4-step formula that changed my whole life. I'm going to give that to you because I feel like that could really help you like it's helped me. And there's a caveat though, right? Just because I share with you this 4-step formula, it doesn't mean it's going to change your life. What's going to change your life is when you practice it on a regular basis. Here's the good news. Everything I'm about to share with you, while I hope I can give you some context and some ideas of how it can help you and bless your life, at the end of the day, practicing it daily is the key, but it only takes a matter of seconds every day, matter of minutes compounded throughout the day, in order to change the entire trajectory of your life. Just like I've seen it do for me, and like I've seen it do for now hundreds of other folks that have started to really interact with this idea of flipping the gratitude switch and what it's meant for. We know that gratitude's like a thing, right? We know that it can be powerful. I knew when I was sitting in the car that it was something that I needed. I knew that I needed more happiness, more control in my life, and I knew sitting in the car when I had that thought, oh my gosh, Darren Hardy talked about gratitude, I knew that it was something I needed. But the problem was I didn't know how to go find it. I mean, I've got all these books, right? I've got all these books behind me. I've got these books in front of me. I got everything I could possibly need on the internet. And at the end of the day, friends, there was not a single instruction manual in any of this how to cultivate, activate, and use gratitude productively. And it's nothing against any of these folks. I mean, these books are phenomenal. They helped me go down a path that made me realize, wow, gratitude is something that's very, very real. But it wasn't until I started to activate and use gratitude regularly and sort of start to look at it differently that stuff started to really change for me. Most people think that gratitude is something you feel. I take issue with that. Gratitude is something you feel and it is something that you have, but more than feeling and having is the doing. Gratitude is something you do, not just something you feel and have. When you do gratitude, meaning when you actively choose to do something and create some gratitude in your life, you'll automatically have gratitude and you'll automatically feel better, but you've got to go and do it. It's got to be a proactive thing. It's a daily conscious decision during key times throughout the day that if in those moments you will be thankful in that circumstance, whatever it may be, if you could be thankful in that circumstance, in that moment, not removing yourself from the present, but be thankful in the circumstance, not just for what's awesome, but even if it's something frustrating, even if it's something that's difficult, even if it's something that's hard. When you will feel gratitude in that, that's you actively doing gratitude, and it creates a different feeling, and you have gratitude, but you don't just have more gratitude. This is how this idea that I'm going to share with you now, the 4-step flip formula and flipping the gratitude switch, changes your life, because now it's different than all the self-help books, and it's different than the weight loss books, and it's different than all the money books, because this is just a simple formula that if you understand sort of the context, that you've got to be present, that you've got to be thankful in your current circumstances, that you have to do gratitude. If you'll do that, it will change the entire trajectory of your life. And here's the reason why. It'll change this moment. The exact moment that happens, the next instant that you're frustrated or something happens that isn't ideal, that moment is your moment to change everything. But what do you do? Right? That's the key. So it's good to know that you've got to be present. It's good to know that you have to be thankful in your current circumstances, whatever they may be. It's good to know that you have to do gratitude, but how do you do it? And this is what I want to share with you. I want to share with you the simple 4-step formula that I found that has changed my life. It's a little something I call flip the gratitude switch. And flipping the gratitude switch is actually something you physically do, but you actually do it inside. And as I went through my story and as I sort of went on my journey to find the way to make gratitude sort of an active part of my life, and I realized it wasn't just gratitude journaling, and I realized it wasn't just being thankful for cool stuff that was around me, and I realized that it wasn't just waiting to feel gratitude for whatever was happening, but that it was doing it. I realized that there was this thing that I was doing inside, and I ultimately took that thing that I was doing inside that I just started to call flip the gratitude switch, because that's how it felt. I mean, it felt like, you could walk into a dark room. I mean, imagine this, right? If you walked into a dark room, how do you change that circumstance? You just flip a tiny switch, and then the room illuminates, it's flooded with light, and you can navigate your route, and you can get to wherever you need to get to. I mean, that's how it felt, right? It was like this little switch that I was flipping inside, and it was changing life. It was illuminating all of life's challenges. It was changing my life flip by flip, moment by moment. And so what I ultimately realized is this thing that I was doing inside, I broke it down into this really simple 4-step formula that I'm going to share with you here. And the 4-step formula goes along with the word flip, so it's FLIP. F is you find the frustration. You get frustrated, you find the frustration, you recognize that there's a frustration, you give it a high five, you say, hey frustration, now that you're here and you're showing up as my teacher, thanks for being here. L is you now take that frustration and you look for what's awesome. I'm sort of an advocate to say that even the bad is 100% good, and what I mean by that is it's all perspective, right? And it's all how you look at life as it comes out at you and how you decide to interact with it. But it's the equivalent of finding a silver lining, I guess. And when you look for the awesome embedded in the frustration, it starts to change the way you feel. You probably sense that shift from the frustration, whatever that thing is, that the kids wrote on the wall, they didn't listen, they didn't make their bed, the guy cut me off on the freeway, I spilled Coke on my pants, I mean, whatever it is, right? It could be 100 different things that frustrates you that happens throughout the day, but then you start to shift that. You take that frustration Now you become thankful in that circumstance. How do you do it? You find and isolate the frustration, and then you look for what's awesome embedded in the frustration. And as soon as you can find what's awesome embedded in the frustration, you move on to step I. I is where you initiate gratitude. Because see, notice what we did. We found the frustration, we looked for what was awesome, and it's almost like we created a list of the stuff that's awesome embedded in the frustration. But now's when you actually trigger your body to do gratitude and to do something, and the way you do that is you take a moment and you just say, I am so thankful. You don't have to say it out loud. You can say it in your head, because it's really about triggering that feeling. It's about releasing an emotion. And now you're not just waiting to feel gratitude, right? You're actually doing something about gratitude. There's a way to trigger gratitude. When you find the frustration, you look for what's awesome, you start to go there. And now you take that moment and you use the words, whether it's in your mind or out or vocally, and you say that you're thankful for. When I go and speak at, junior highs and high schools and stuff, sometimes the kids don't know what gratitude means. And I always tell them, it's the power that you feel inside of the words thank you. And so how do you initiate gratitude, which is I? Find the frustration, look for what's awesome, initiate gratitude. You're really activating gratitude. And what happens is really cool. Your body changes. Literally, physically, it's like a chemical thing. It like really biologically changes you because your body releases something known as the reward chemical. It's called dopamine. And dopamine makes you feel awesome. And you start to literally feel a difference. And I call that step number 4, which is P, power up with Gratifuel. Gratifuel is just a compound word of gratitude and fuel, because I always say that gratitude fuels life. Gratitude fuels you. Gratitude fuels you as a mom, as a dad, as a business person, as a grandparent. Gratitude can fuel you as a friend, as a spouse, as a loved one, as a partner. Gratitude gives you that ability. I've got a sign in my office that says, gratitude changes everything. The reason I have that in here is because it does. And the other sign that I have just over here to my right is another one that I love. It says, to express gratitude is gracious and honorable. And I think we'd agree, right? It's good to say thank you. To enact gratitude, now this is more like when you're activating gratitude. Well, that's generous and noble, but this is the key. It says, but to live with gratitude ever in our hearts is to touch heaven. But the key is, you don't just be thankful for things, you be thankful in them. And you decide to not just have gratitude, but do gratitude so you can feel and have it. You become thankful inside the frustration by looking for what's awesome embedded in the frustration, initiating gratitude, and then letting your body release that dopamine, and it powers you up. And it powers you forward, and it makes you keep going. It feels like you're touching heaven because you powered up with this Gratifuel, and it fuels you to go further, and it fuels you to take the next step, and it fuels you to just be a little bit better, to be a little bit nicer, a little bit more generous, a little bit more full of service, a little bit more, convicted to contribute positively to other people's lives and to your own life. If you will understand that gratitude, it's about being present in the moment, and it's about doing gratitude, not just feeling and having it. If you understand that by flipping the gratitude switch and finding the frustration, looking for what's awesome and initiating gratitude, and then allowing your body to power you up and power you through to move you forward, what happens is you're moving forward until that next frustration shows up. And when the next tiny frustration, big or small, shows up, all you have to do is flip the gratitude switch again. See, it's that simple. What I was missing in my life was a reminder. So I had some light switch covers made for my home. And I put them in my home, and it was a reminder that I can flip a tiny switch. And I installed them in my home so that I could teach my kids about this idea of, in a moment of frustration, being able to flip it by finding the frustration, looking for what's awesome, initiating gratitude, and letting it power you up and power you through. And this was the first reminder. But can I tell you, while it was a good reminder, I needed more. And so what I realized is that the best way to have constant reminders is to realize that every moment that the tiniest frustration may arise, I can choose to flip the gratitude switch right there, be present and thankful in my circumstances, whatever they may be, through flipping the gratitude switch. At the end of the day, here's what I want for you. I just want you to know that inside of tiny moments throughout your day, you can change your entire life. When those frustrations crop up, it's through the daily conscious decision to flip the gratitude switch during those frustrations, to find and locate that frustration, to look for what's awesome, to initiate the gratitude and allow yourself and your life to power up with Gratifuel. It's in those moments that you become a better mom, that you become a better dad, that you become a better business person, that you become a better human. that you can feel more joy, feel more happiness, feel like you're more in control of your life, and feel as though life never has to be bad again.